So up next, there will be a Q&A by two wonderful people. The first one is Mrs. Herna Verhagen, CEO and Chairman of the Board of Directors at PostNL and member of the supervisory boards of Philips and ING Bank. Early on in her career, Hannah saw the value of technology and data, and she had the guts to turn the business into a real tech company. And if PostNL continues to be the Netherlands' favorite delivery system, well, this is why. The second will be Mr. René Steenvoorden, former CIO of Essent, Rabobank, and CDO of Randstad. Now senior digital consultant and currently enjoying the search of what is next in his life. Please give them a warm welcome.
Good morning. Good to see everybody again. 18 years already. We have came a long way from Noordwijk all the way to this high-tech center. Excellent to have you all here again, and of course, excellent to have you, Herna.
Thank you.
As a major partner for our business and IT leaders along the years, it's so much such a pleasure to have a partner like you here on this table. So welcome. And maybe to kick things off, there's so much happening in the world at the moment. War, post-corona, logistical change, inflation. But there was already a lot happening 10 years ago when you started as a CEO at PostNL. Can you take us a bit through that journey?
Yeah, of course, and it's incomparable to where PostNL is today, because when I started, I think 90% of the business by then was still mail business and the rest was parcels. When I started as a CEO within PostNL, the company was in distress, which meant that they were loss-making, they had a failed reorganization, they had a negative cash flow, so there was lots to do. Which meant that on the short term, when I started, the aim was to get a financially sound organization. And secondly, but that will be probably part of your questioning, was of course to get the company into e-commerce instead of mainly mail and a bit of parcels, becoming an e-commerce company. That was the second goal. But it was different from what it is today, truly different.
Yeah. And indeed what you say, becoming an e-commerce company is a tech direction, right? So you have to change that company to that kind of mindset. Why did you choose to go that way?
Yeah, I think a few reasons. The first one, of course, is already 10 years ago, mail was a declining business. So you had to think about, okay, if we want to have this company in the Netherlands for the next 220 years, because the company exists 220 years, so let's double the age of the company, then we have to find out where our core business will be in the future. By that time, we already said it will be in parcels, which later developed into e-commerce. So a crisis in which we were was also, in my view, perfect ground to set new goals, but also to set a new frame when it came to tech and IT. And that's also when we started to make the first changes, where we were discussing to implement SaaS for everything which was a commodity, to have bespoke solutions for everything in which we wanted to be different from all the others. So that's how it started. So the little seeds were put into the ground in 2012, 2013.
Yeah. And now we all know Marcel Krom quite well, former CEO of PostNL and CEO of the year, chair of the CEO platform. So we know that the pressure that you had to work with was very real because your market kept shrinking and therefore you had to fund those kind of investments along the way. So you obviously worked very close to Marcel. Can you tell a bit more how you worked with a CIO and how did you involve other people in your company with that?
Yeah, of course. I think it's most of you do know Marcel, so he's easy to work with. That helps, in my view, enormously. And he has the capability or the competency to make difficult things, or at least explain difficult things in an easy way. That helps to engage people, that helps to take people along with you. I think that's one. Yeah. So it has to do with the person first. Secondly, what is important is that there is a certain trust between the CEO and the CIO, because you make steps onto unknown territory. And you do not know for sure that whatever you implement, whatever you want to change, will be successful. And in most of the occasions, as you already said, it's not a short-term gain, it's a long-term win. So there needs to be belief in it. And that, in that sense, the relation between CEO, CIO was, in that situation for PostNL, crucial to make this happen.
And did you encounter a lot of resistance? Did people challenge what Marcel and you were proposing, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, of course there was lots of resistance, and people did challenge, but in our view we didn't have a choice. We wanted to be an e-commerce company. By now we have more than 8 different logistical networks which are connected, where you need lots of IT or tech behind. We have an app, almost 7 million people in the app. If you wouldn't have let the basis, I would say 8, 9 years ago, then we would not be where we are today. But the way I think we dealt with the resistance was twofold. Partly, some of the changes we just did and didn't take anyone along with us. So we started certain changes without telling. And it happened in the backside of the organization, and when it became very visual, then of course we started to tell. That was one. Secondly, on the most important changes, of course, you engage. And then it comes to partly, of course, convince and give the examples of what it can be if we make certain changes. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, also create the amount of investments or the investment capacity which is necessary to make the changes, but also allow people to fail, because it's not possible to do everything perfect the first time. Not in IT, not in tech, not in the business. So it's a combination of ways you use to make it happen. And I think what was important to me, what still is important to me, you have to look to your own team. Because you know, of course, who are the people in my team, what sort of characters do I have in my team, and what does it need to convince them. So it's not a recipe you can use everywhere, every time, for every management team. That's not going to work. You will have to find out what is working in my own team.
Yeah. But that connection between you and the CEO is, of course, crucial to create this kind of environment where you can make mistakes, where you can learn, and where you have the tenure to keep on investing also for the longer term. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. Now, I know that purpose and sustainability is also very important topics for you and for PostNL. Can you explain how this worked into your transformation?
Yeah, I think as I said in the beginning, the main aim was get the company again financially sound. So that was that's not a real purpose, to be honest, but that was a simple way of explaining what we needed to do. After a few years, when the company was in much more safe territory, we started to work together with the people within PostNL on, okay, how should our purpose look like? What is truly motivating? What is truly, I would say, representing PostNL as we are today, but also as we want to be in 5 to 10 years from now? And the purpose we've chosen is to be your favorite deliverer. That's our purpose. And that means that we want to be the favorite deliverer of every consumer in the Benelux. If you want to be that, it entails a lot. It means today that you have to be CO2 emission free, or at least that you have to be as sustainable as possible. It also means that you need to be a tech company. People want to reach you via their app or via other technology means. They want to have everything they receive accurate. They want to have the information up front. They want to reschedule if necessary, etc., etc. So behind the words of your favorite deliverer, there's lots behind. For our mailmen and parcel drivers, I think the thing with which they make the difference is their smile. Because when you get your parcel driver to the door, in most of the occasions, he brings you something which makes you happy. And when he or she does that with a smile, it makes your day. And that's also what we see in the engagement scores or in the customer satisfaction scores, that the impact of the one who is delivering mail and parcels is big when it comes to customer satisfaction.
Because these little blue envelopes you just put into the mailbox, you don't need a smile for that, but the packages, that's where you can make a difference, of course. Yeah, yeah. Can you tell how your personal leadership style evolved over the years? Did that change, or is that vision always been the same? How do you look at yourself as a leader of such a big transformation while running a huge operation?
No, I don't think that my style changed. It's a style of trust and belief. So that didn't change over 10 years. What changes, of course, is the amount of experience you bring to the table. And that also means that in certain discussions you can come to quicker solutions or decisions, because you've seen it before and you do have a certain experience. And in other occasions, it's much more, that is not so easy. So I think the way I lead is much more that I want to give people room, freedom, and also the ability to do their thing, because we hire them because they're good at something. And that's what I want to see. That's where I want to help people to even make themselves better, bigger, etc., etc. That's how I lead, and that is based on trust and belief. Believe in that what they want to do is best for PostNL, and the trust that whatever they pick up, they will do it in the right way. And of course, it's always, it's not 100% certain that everything you do is successful, and that also needs to be part of the relation you have with someone. It's, in my view, better to take 10 decisions of which 8 are right, 2 are wrong, than no decision at all. So let's move forward. Let's try to change. Let's try to make the speed we need as an organization. And the way I do that is with belief that the ones who do the job are the right ones to do the job, and the trust that they do the right things.
Very, very nice. Belief and trust. I like that combination. Now we have here 600 key leaders of both the demand and supply side, so you can also lead for today this group. What would you advise this group, or how can they support your vision, or what could you recommend to them?
Yeah, I would say be visionary and tell it. Not every CIO or not every IT lead is very outspoken. Some are not. But when I think at least about the future, when I think about what will happen in the next coming 10 years, tech will be, in my view, one of the biggest drivers behind the change we will see over the next coming 10 years. And that means that your voice, as tech leads or CIOs or IT leads or whatever the name of the job is you fill in, is crucial. And I would say, make yourself heard. And when you find that difficult, because sometimes that is the case because it's not part of your personality, then use your CEO or use someone else to make your voice heard. Because I do think that if we want to be successful as an organization, but also if we want to be successful as a society, then technology is a big driver behind that. And I think it's the golden age for CIOs, so I would say make use of it.
Beautiful. Golden age for CEOs, make your voice heard. Herna, thank you very much for being with us and supporting us, and hope to see you next time again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the day.